Talk about boring imagination, or surfing off of, or drifting off of somebody else's imagination. So I don't drive. I've never driven in my life, which shocks and amazes people. I like to say I predicted that Uber was going to be a thing. So I said, why bother with driving? Reality is, I'm always thinking about a million things. So I didn't want to drive. But I've heard about this term drifting in the driving world, where if there's a car in front of you, and again, I've never driven, so I don't know this, and I don't know if it needs to be going at a certain speed, but and if you're behind it in your car and you can sort of position yourself correctly, you could sort of like drift off of them, so you're picking up speed off of them, something like that. And I've been thinking about this when it comes to imagination, because for me, AI is middleware for the human imagination. AI is a blank canvas of possibility waiting for us to paint it with our unique fingerprint of imagination. The economics of imagination have changed, but a lot of people are uncomfortable expressing their imagination. We've all grown up in factory schooling and work systems, so it's sort of been doused over time. And we don't think we're creative. We don't think we have imagination, which is wrong, because to be human is to have imagination. But for a lot of us, that flame of imagination has been diminished. It's doused. It's maybe just a faint flicker right now. Um, so bore it, drift. And I think one of the best ways to do it might be, you know, do you have a kid? Um, does one of your friends have a kid, like a 6-year old? Because when you see young people interact with AI, like, I don't need to explain to them it's a blank canvas of possibility. They immediately and intuitively understand it's Play-Doh, Lego blocks, and Etch a Sketch all rolled into one. And the way they immediately start interacting with it, they're not waiting for the instructions. They're not waiting for anyone to tell them, oh, here's the buttons you click on, and here's the specific like prompts or commands that you give it. They just go. They start doing things. They start making. And just like you did, I did, when we're young, when we were playing with Lego, we would take the blocks and put them together. We would make something. And then what would we do? We would sort of tear them apart and then make something else. Why? Because we would build something, look at it, go, cool. And then we would have another idea and we would start to build something else. I think one of the coolest, but maybe one of the worst things that ever happened to Lego is sort of these mega sets that got created. And now Lego has sort of become this artwork. You spend literally hours, days, weeks, sometimes months building these things. And then they end up on the shelf like artwork. And I think it takes away from what we did as kids, or Play Doh. Play Doh, literally like this squishy thing. And we would start to mold it into something like a vase or whatever else. And then we would look at it, and then what would we do? We would squish it down. Why? Because we'd be imagining something else, and we would start to mold it into something else. Or Etch a Sketch, we would start to like turn those little knobs. We would make something, and we would see this like whatever we'd sort of like knob scribbled onto the screen. And then we look at it, go, cool, and then shake it because something else had popped up into our imaginations. And when you see kids who still haven't had their imagination diminished by factory schooling or being told the right way to pursue their own creativity and curiosity, the right way to imagine, the way they approach and immediately and intuitively interact with AI is magical. It immediately puts me back into my 6-year-old self. And I love drifting off of that energy because it puts me back into my 6-year-old self.